Perceived wisdom is that handspun sock yarn should always be 3-ply. Why is that? And is it even right? In this video, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of using 3-ply for your sock yarn. Can you use 2-ply, and can you even use singles? My name's Becca and I'm a hand spinner, knitter and newbie weaver, and you're very welcome to my home in West Wales. So why do we use 3-ply? It's very hard wearing, and that is the most obvious thing because obviously socks need a really hard wearing yarn. It's also a very round yarn, so that if you're doing a cable stitch or maybe some very delicate lace work, then it's a really good yarn to use for that. And as often happens in my videos, the dog is making noises off. Hang on one moment. So back to yarn. 3-ply. It does have some disadvantages. It potentially could be quite a bulky yarn, and unless you are spinning uber thin, then when you ply it and you've got 3 plies, that could be a lot of yarn to make socks out of. And you know, they're going on our feet, we're putting shoes over them. We want something that's going to be a little bit finer so that we're not sort of stuffing our toes into shoes that don't fit us anymore because our socks are too thick. The other thing is it's going to take quite a long time to spin that much, and you are spinning very, very fine. If you like spinning very, very fine and you've got you know, a really high ratio whirl on your wheel, then you know it's probably fine. But I have 2 whirls on my wheel, and my higher ratio will spin quite happily what plies 2-ply into sock yarn. But if I had to go much thinner than that, I would be struggling a little bit. So those are the reasons why you might not do it. So I've already sort of alluded to 2-ply, and that's actually what I do for my sock yarn. Is I in fact do 2-ply. It's not going to be as hard wearing as a 3-ply, but I find that if I do a heel stitch when I'm making my socks, then I get that little bit of extra wear out of the socks before I have to start darning them. And let's face it, that's one of the joys of handmade socks, is that actually they're really easy to repair and darn, so you do get a lot of wear out of them. Which brings me on to singles. Can you knit socks with singles? Yes, but you have to do a little bit of jiggery pokery in order to get it to work properly. Now, I actually have never knitted socks with singles, and I'm a little bit put off because you do actually have to sort of alter your stitches a bit, and on the heel, which is the most difficult bit, you have to generally add in another ply, so you're actually knitting it 2-ply. I would be really interested to know if there is anybody out there who knits singles into socks and what tricks they use. Now, I've done a little bit of reading around it, and people who do it, generally they use a sort of mixture of a stocking stitch with the occasional garter stitch, and then maybe they put some seed stitch in or some moss stitch so that they're straightening things out a little bit. I'm going to have a go at it, but it's not something I've ever done. If someone has got a pattern that they can recommend that's maybe on Ravelry, then I'd really love that. That would be absolutely great. So I'm going to turn the camera around and just show you the results of the spinning that I did last week, because I've now knitted it up into a little swatch and I've done my wraps per inch, and we can see what it looks like. So this is what I was spinning in my last video. It's a purpose blended sock fibre with 90% Shetland wool, which makes really good socks, and a 20% bio nylon, so it's a biodegradable nylon to give it some extra durability. And I put in a little bit of just this blended top that I bought in one of the tubs of joy from World of Wool, and I will link this in the description. This is how it span up. Obviously it's in a yarn cake now, and it ended up at 20 wraps per inch, which is going to be really great for socks. And this is my little swatch. I think in hindsight I actually would have had shorter stripes. I put a little bit too much of the kind of the contrast colour in at once. I should have had smaller amounts of that, but you know, you live and learn. But all in all, pretty happy with it. So that in the next couple of weeks is going to become a pair of socks. Well, obviously not that. That is going to become some socks, and I'm going to finish spinning this. In my next video, I'm going to be looking at creating your own hand-dyed rovings for a self-patterning sock yarn. So until then, my crafty creative friend, I will wish you goodbye.